you got something like this, right? So, you've come down here and you're starting to break, even on your like weekly chart, you can see here you got like a bear flag, right? So you're starting to break down that bear flag. Let me get rid of these lines here for a second. So you're starting to break down that bear flag. You don't have any support really to like 475. So you got some downside on this. But if you look at it, you are down like 30% on this thing. So how much downside is there? There's gonna be SSR on it. So it can squeeze somewhere and then it might fade back. So you got to be careful with these things. Guten Tag, good morning. So let's add that to the list. FLR. You got yourself a nice spot over here. So you got yourself a little bit of a bear flag here. This is Fluorocorp. It's gonna move pretty well if you can stay under 2742. I think that this one's got a chance. I think probably out of the shorts that we've got so far, this is one of the cleaner ones. I don't anticipate any of them being as hot as some of the oil ones yesterday. The oil shorts yesterday, that was hot. That's heat. See, when you get earnings plays and they couple with sector plays, that's when you get the real shred on a stock. Like when you see stuff like this, when you get the earnings and the sector all just collapsing at once, that's the perfect world. Like that's what you're really, really looking for. That's your perfect setup. That's why, we went in such balls heavy on some of the oils yesterday. So, keep an eye on floor. It's going to look okay. NTEP looks semi-decent. NTEP is not a big mover. I know a lot of you guys got this one on your list. NTEP, it'll move okay. Like it's a 244 million share float. You do have this breakdown over here. You can see right here. So if you even look at your weekly chart, you have, the 200 SMA, but it's under it. So you actually have some room to fall. You don't have really any supports down into really the low 40s. I think that this one, it could be a bleeder. I think we need to keep it on the list regardless. I like SQ. If it can stay under 71-ish, this thing could get dusted back. A lot of times, like when there's like a heavily watched name like this, and people, especially right at the open, they'll pile in this sucker. They'll pile in and show it what American justice is all about. Now, if it ends up holding this range, like I don't think there's going to be a play in it. We got to leave it alone. So, be mindful of the levels on this thing. Hey, Viet, what's going on? Rafal, how are you? Frankie B, what's up, what's up? STX, they got smoked on their earnings too. So you're already starting to see this thing, data storage, blah, 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 blah. This is your sweet spot here. So this would kind of confirm, like you have a head and shoulders pattern over there. Any break and hold under this level, you're going to have yourself some potential downside on this. Remember, you don't short anything just to short them. I know some of you guys are new in the chat room and stuff. You got to wait for a pattern. So we either wait for ORB or quick pullback or nothing, right? You got to get out of them when they're not going. And then, yes, Jamie, ANET does look good. If it stays under 256, this thing's got a chance. I like this one. Got to stay under kind of this 250, 260, 257 zone, and you're good. You're already down. You're already trending pre-market, 40 points. Mr. Whittock, what's up? Juan Valdez, how you doing? Lambert, what's going on? This one's good, Jamie. Good eye, buddy. You know what? Take Etsy off the list. I think this CLDR, out of all the plays, this one's going to probably look the most explosive just due to where the location is on the daily chart. Breaking over the 200. Gap fill to 9. I think this one's probably got the most upside if it actually shows a pattern. It also has, the highest chance of, giving you heartburn and ruining your weekend. So, you take that however you want to take it. Now, CLDR is not a low float stock. If you see that, its market cap is 1.6 billion, but it's not a low float stock. It's actually got fairly high float. unless they've had a reverse split here somewhere, which I don't see. So don't expect this thing to be up like 200, 300%. I can already see some of you guys getting all giddy because it's under 10 bucks and you're thinking like, woohoo! But the odds of it moving, that much is almost zero. But yeah, we might get some 50, 60 cent shreds out of it at some point. Now let's go to the regular watch list. NYGN was hot yesterday. Why we weren't playing it, I blame on Sal. But for the rest of us, man, this thing had some range on it. 20 something dollars. If you look here, 50 is resistance. 50 is resistance. This one looks like, man, this one's got a chance on it for day 2. Let's see this thing. Like, it was opening up red, but it's already starting to go red to green. If it takes out yesterday's high, I think this one's going to have, a decent chance on it. JNUG was, this was on the shred zone yesterday. JNUG was on the shred zone yesterday. So you can see this thing. Man, you had the lows down at 66. You closed at like near 82, so almost 20-point run. Any kind of weakness on this thing, watch this thing. If it flushes out today, $2-3, and it starts to hold support, watch this one for a red to green. Like, you can't ignore this kind of candle. Like, breakout's probably imminent on this thing. Because this is what's called a shake and bake, right? Like, you think like, oh, you see this big red candle, you're thinking like, oh shit, like this thing, the trend is done. It just rips back down to support, and then it's off to the races. So what we want to do on this bad boy, first of all, keep mind of your levels, right? So there was some support here at 77. That was the breakout from yesterday. That one, that could be something where, it could hold. If we get if I got to tap to 77, I'm trying to shred this thing out. We got AYX for the red to green. So this one, even when the market was dumping yesterday, it was actually still trending. It tapped its VWAP, and it just ripped off. That's what you want to see with your VWAP taps anyways. Like, see this? Like, a lot of times people try to play stocks off the VWAP. What you want to see is that kind of like slow bleed into the VWAP. You get a green candle to hold. That's like when you want to enter that. Ideally, that's the kind of VWAP plays like you like. A lot of times people, when they trade the VWAP, they're playing like ones that are not orderly. And so, you'll hear like people say like, oh, like the VWAP plays aren't working. They're working, but no indicator alone works. Like, it's got to come in a context with the overall chart picture, and also the orderliness of, the move back is going to be a really, really important. Crowd held up yesterday too. We did dump in the close, but it rebounded right back. This thing is just kind of coagulating right now, but $100 is probably imminent on this thing. I got this Dish Network on watch for potential bounce here. This is what we'd call like a rubber band long. You get like 6-7 days in a row downside. You start to hit some supports. You got your 200 SMA there. If you start to see, I'll only hit this thing if I do see one thing, a 1-2-3 pattern. So I need to see some weakness, and then a 1-2-3 pattern. 1-2-3 pattern will look like a W. So you'll push down, you make a low, pop up, you make a higher low. So it'll look like a W, and then it'll go. That's when you want to kind of take this thing to, whoa. What just happened, TC? Damn. Yeah, Elizabeth, let me reboot this TC1000. Mr. Whittock, you know what? You got to have longs and shorts in this particular market. And the reason is, yesterday the market was flying, right? So yesterday the market was flying, and then it rolled over. So even though you see like kind of these 2 down days, and you're thinking like, man, we got to short the shit out of everything, we were pushing hot for a hot second, till the Trumpster tweeted out about the tariffs and stuff. So I think you got to have both longs and shorts on the list, and you'll have to be reactive to kind of what's going down, because anything could go down, right? So you have to be a little bit more vigilant, guys, and like how you're seeing the action, and just be super mindful. If you start to see like your watch list, right? You have your watch list. You start to see like down ticks on all your watch lists. Like, put arrows on your watch list so when the tick is up or down. If you start to see Like I'll do this will happen on mine. Like they'll all just start to tick down, and you'll just start to see them all like turn red, right, along with the indexes. As soon as I see that, I'm basically flipping it. I'm basically flipping it short. Yesterday chat room, I mean, we were able to flip it short within seconds as soon as the market rolled over. That's why we had such a powerful close. You got to be able to feel the action, right? So once you start to see your watch list start to tick down, start looking, right? Like, oh shit, maybe something's going on. Take a look at the price of the indexes, and then you have to flip. You have to flip on a term, and that's the good thing about having. I mean, frankly, that's a good thing about having so many eyes. So many eyes in a chat room of all people that have been trained by the same person. We're looking at the same shit. Let me see, Elizabeth. This ENPH is good. It's not on watch for me today, just because it's like on day 5 of the move. But if this thing pulls back for a couple days, I would definitely, be interested in this thing again. Hey, Mr. Magnify. Yeah, TNDM does look very nice. Also, if it can get over this trend line on the daily, which it's almost pretty much there, and if it does, I think that this one is gonna have a chance. Yeah, I like this one too. So we got pins. So there's a lot of plays out, right? We're gonna have to always. You're gonna have to clean them up. So when you get a lot of plays, guys, like you got to start ranking them, right? Like, okay, what's my favorite? What's my second favorite? And so on and so forth. So I like to go tiers. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. Tier 1s are stocks that I love, that are ready to go like right now. Like I need them. Like I got to be in this thing. It's hot to trot, right? A Tier 2 is like, okay, this is a good stock, but the chart may need a little bit of work. Like I need to put it on my list, but it's going to need a little work. It's got to do this. It's got to get over a trend line. It's got to do a dipsy-do dunkaroo. And then a Tier 3 is like, these are the stocks that I just trade every day, right? So what do we trade every day right now? JNUG, right? We trade the JNUG pretty much every day. OSTKs a lot of days. Roku definitely. ZM, so on and so forth. So go Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. That's when you really want to roll with these things. So just kind of be really organized. When you have this many stocks on your list, it can feel a little bit overwhelming. So make sure, like we use 6 window layouts for everything. Let these things shred, guys. Let everything shred and do what they got to do. All right, rock and roll. Hey, Justice, you got a good list there, by the way. Sweet. All right, well, let's go. Hey, Spencer, how you doing? You know what? AMD's probably got a little bit more to pull back before you get to any support. I do like the overall look of this, though. The trend has been broken, and it's got heavy volume selling. If this thing pops back into the 200, you probably get a short on it. Right now, it's a little bit extended to just like straight up shred to the downside, but it's looking okay. It's looking okay. Good. Hey, Christian, how you doing? Man, this Atos is a turd, by the way. It's looking okay. This is a pump and dump stock, right? So unless you're planning on pumping and dumping it, right, it's not going to act the way you want. So stocks like Atos, right, they're going to move on a handful of things. And that's going to be mainly PRs. So you're not going to see it like much move around. You're not going to see it much move around like on its own. It's going to just move around when there's a PR. So guys, I'll be in the chat room, dude. What I do, the do. Let's have some fun. If you guys had fun, give me a thumbs up. I'll be in the Bulls on Wall Street chat room. You guys got to check it out. We've been shredding all week. Let's go do what we got to do. Be safe today. Guys, it's Friday. You know what we got to do.